So guys, I think most of you know, I was fortunate enough to be the founder and one of the broker advisors for the REThink Council. Bob has been involved with this on the Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices side from the get-go. And so I'm going to let him introduce the group, say a couple things about the REThink Council, and then we're going to dive in on the best practices with them. We've got other REThink Council members setting up here that we may pull on in this, but we're going to have a twist on this to let them understand. Yeah, Shannon, you need to get back with the old people. Mamie said, do I need to come up here to help babysit all these kids? But we want to have some twist on this. I'm for sure going to be asking a question. How are we communicating with the millennial generation, which is now buying probably 46% of the homes in the United States this year, right? Because how we communicate, how do we connect with them is going to be different than we've done in the past. And we need to understand that because it is the largest segment of buyers in the marketplace. Bob, take this away.
All right, so does everybody know who and what the REThink Council is? The REThink Council is our answer to YPN. So if you have a local YPN, Young Professionals Network, there's no age to join. I can join the YPN. I am a member of YPN in Orange County, California. But this is our answer to developing the leaders in real estate for the future. Because there is a leadership vacuum coming up in the real estate business. And the REThink Council has 12 national directors. For those of you on the REThink Council, please stand up in the audience.
And alumni.
And alumni. Excellent. Give them a hand. So this group of young leaders is blazing the path for where we are going as a company in the future. Here's a picture of alumni from our January meeting. We meet 3 times a year. We also have a REThink Council Facebook page, so please, everybody is welcome. We have 2,800 members on it. And what we do is we post what's going on in the REThink Council, including videos. This is the REThink blog. Yes, I told you it was such a great video. So Kat Hitchcock did a great job on working your referral database. And your referral database, your CRM, is the way to definitely scale and eventually sell your business in the future. So that's your retirement plan if you're in the real estate business. So without any further ado, I'm going to have each one of you introduce yourselves, where you're from, very briefly, and then we'll go into the questions.
Okay. Well, I'm Rachel Skradski, and I'm with... Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
In the back?
Good. I'm with Vince's office here. Very lucky to be here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Dallas Eichers. I'm with Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Utah Properties, Salt Lake City. And what other?
I'm going to step back. You're a partnership of 2, and you guys will do about 80, 90 transactions a year?
I think we're on track for 100, actually.
Perfect.
So, yeah, it's just myself and a business partner, and then we have an admin.
In Dallas, are you an individual, or are you on a team, and how?
I have a business partner. We've done 40 transactions this year, about 16 million, on track for 60 and about 20 million in
Perfect.
Andy Blake, I'm from Kansas City. Team. I've got 6 agents on my team, 2 admin. We should do about 180 units this year.
Very
about
good.
45 million.
Kyle Hannegan from St. Louis, Missouri. Select Properties. We had some Alliance people in here too from St. Louis. I think they just left, but yeah, clap it up. There we go. So I run a team of 4, including myself, and we're on pace to do about 100 transactions this year, hopefully for 20 million, right about. So.
And you're an alumni.
I am an alumni. Yes, I'm an alum. So I'm hanging out with the new crew here. So thanks for letting me come back, I guess, and be up here.
Bob, you want to shoot away and start giving some questions to these young adults?
Yeah, the young adults. So one of the things that we've learned through the REThink Council meetings is what's old is new again. So Rachel, tell us a little bit about how you're building your business using some older techniques. I mean, tried and true techniques.
Yeah, so I am in Mike Ferry coaching and kind kind of the concept behind it is that the proactive approach to finding buyers and sellers. So I actually do prospect in the morning between 8 and 10. My goal is to hit 20 contacts per day. And depending on who I'm talking to, usually I'm under 20, just because if you're talking to past clients, those conversations take a little bit longer. But that's my goal, is to reach out to those people to find buyers and sellers.
I've gone back to direct mail and open houses. And on the open houses, I think it's an opportunity to cultivate relationships both in the neighborhood and with people that walk in the door. And maybe you're a newer agent, or maybe your business has gone a little slow. It's an opportunity to just meet new people face to face. Direct mail, there's a program called Every Door Direct Mail. Not sure if you guys have heard of it, but it helps you bring the cost down and lets you send through the post office for basically 17 cents a piece, plus your printing costs, whatever you decide to spend on that. And you can use a wide variety of sizes, not just your regular small postcards. You can actually do like 8.5 by 11, and the cost to send it's still the same. And we've had unbelievable response to that. People call every time we send out a promotion to a neighborhood, just listed, just sold, a quarterly update, things like that.
It's been amazing to me. Shauna talked about doing open houses on $5-10 million houses in Laguna Beach. And I would tell you, in our mastermind groups over the last couple months, it really seems to me like there's been a flock back to doing open houses. And I think as the market got tough, or got easy, and houses were flying off the hook, people got away from that. But I really would encourage you, get back to doing open houses. It's a great way to pick up clients to grow your business.
I'm probably similar to Dallas. I mean, we're pretty old school, I guess, especially with the young crew up here. But a lot of mailings. I do a lot of handwritten notes. That's probably my best thing. I guess I'm consistent about. I do it for referrals from people. I do it to, obviously clients when they close. I do it to other agents every time we co-op on a deal. I encourage our team to do that. Just a quick, hey, great doing a deal with you. It's $5 at Starbucks. Next coffee's on me. I think we found that really good, especially in the competitive market we're in of multiple offers. I think we've got a good reputation and kind of playing nice with others.
And so that's really helping you. So sending it to other agents, and I've heard this conversation before, is we need to be respectful to other agents. And part of that concept is, now if you're in a multiple offer situation, maybe you're going to have a competitive advantage because you've sent that handwritten note and you've nurtured a relationship with them that's going to make them want to work with you because you're an agent that's easier to work with.
Totally. Yep.
So I guess the kind of going last is, everything that you guys said is exactly what I do too. We're very old school in the sense of really building that sphere and kind of just piggybacking off like a handwritten note card. We're big on rewarding the action, not the result. So if we get a referral, whoever gave me that referral, I send them a little $5 gift card, handwritten note right away. And then on Vince's point too, with open houses, I had a conversation with, it was a KW agent, but he really opened my eyes to why he does open houses. He goes, my team, they started to not like open houses. They're not getting anything out of it. But his big thing was, he goes, I actually go after sellers. So my mindset is to go after sellers with open houses, and he finds tremendous success with that. And yeah, with direct mail too. I've heard so many agents say direct mail, they're getting a ton of great responses now the last year or so with direct mail again. Because I think everything gets lost in emails, and all that fun stuff. You get thousands a day. So
Kyle, when he's saying he's going after sellers, I'm assuming he's doing something like a nosy neighbor, and he's inviting the neighbors to that open house or a private open house to start nurturing and building those relationships with those neighbors that he did not have otherwise, showing them how proactive he's being on promoting his property.
Absolutely, and he has a lot of literature in there too, specifically for sellers as well. So,
perfect. So the question that I wanted to ask is, utilizing social media technology, how are we communicating with the millennial generation? How are we connecting with them? What do we need to do to make sure that we're getting in front of them? And I would think social media is a big part of that. So could you guys maybe touch on how you're using social media technology or any of those things we talked about earlier to enhance this relationship building process and to allow you to connect with more of this generation?
I'm a big fan of Facebook Messenger. I think that's one of the best ways you can go back and find people you haven't connected with in years. I went to a private grade school. Some of the, we kind of went different ways. We went to high school, college, and so forth. But you can find pretty much anyone on there, have a conversation with them. And there's really no excuse not to do it, to be honest with you. And I mean, a lot of people, that's not their number one priority, in the terms of what they use for a platform to communicate, but it's a great way to reach out to someone and, establish a new relationship. So I think Facebook Messenger is huge for me on that.
Is that part of a schedule or a prospecting?
Yeah, so that would be something that I do. So I get coached by Tom Ferry, not personally, but so my coach has me make the 5-5-4 is what they do. 5 new contacts, 5 sphere contacts for the day, and then 4 follow-ups, and it usually is a little bit more than that. So my 5 new, I always go on there, and my two of my team members are back there, and I have Facebook up every single day, and it's not because I'm wasting time. It's literally because I'm going through there looking for change and reaching out.
Yeah, I do the same thing. So I'll reach out through Messenger if someone gets engaged or has a baby or announces their pregnancy, whatever, just to give it more of a personal touch versus just commenting, just saying hey, that's so exciting, I'm so happy for you and your family. So not really I'll directly connect with them sometimes, but also sometimes just sending, words of, affirmation. The other thing that I do is I feel like with millennials, they want you to respond instantly. So if I get a phone call and they are thinking about buying a house and I can't call them back right away, I'll just text them, hey, I'm in a meeting, but I heard your message and I'm going to get back with you as soon as I can. So I think with millennials, it's really about just getting back with them and talking to them late at night too. I mean, they want to communicate at all times of the day. So
Guys, we talked about that yesterday, that inside of every one of your packets, we've got that sheet that came out of Forbes or Fortune a couple years ago, talking about customer service, and the question is it getting worse? And again, the answer was no, it's not getting worse. That because of millennials, it's trickled up through all generations that they don't have patience. They're a now society, and that the level of customer service we deliver has got to be greater than it ever has been before. I think you've got to get that in your mind, and I think this is really true of this generation. They don't have patience, and it's next for them. If you're not getting back with them, guess what? They're going to go on to someone else eventually. So I think that's a really important point with this generation.
Oh, yeah, so I just wanted to piggyback off that real quick, not to interrupt you guys, but so just a great example of what Rachel said. So literally on Sunday night, it was one of my buddy's sister's birthday. I obviously wrote on her wall, but I took it a step further, sent her a message. She goes, I'm actually going to be in the market here coming up in fall. So, I mean, that's just another example. Would she have reached out to me without doing that? Maybe. I would like to think so, I hope. But that's just another example of sending that message, taking it one step further, and you never know what can happen.
right.
I'm on social media. I'm not super active on social media. I'm a little more old school. I thought Megan Owens made a good point. I think I use Facebook or Instagram to see what's going on with people, and then I reach out, maybe a phone call or text or something outside of that. So
I post about what I'm doing, what my dog's doing. I don't have kids yet, but just the things you're out doing, vacationing, what you enjoy, so that people can relate to you and find common ground and common interests, because they tend to want to work with people that do similar things than they do and stuff like that. So I'm not really posting about real estate. I'm posting about being in Omaha, or I'm posting about going to the basketball game or running with my dog or whatever it is. And that helps build those common things and helps you build the relationship probably a lot faster than you would in any other way.
And I think a lot of the research on millennials says that they want people to be transparent. So they want to hear about the good things that are going on in your life, but if you're having challenges, they think that's really real if you post that. So I think that, it can't be all about selling real estate. They want to see, like Dallas said, your personal side, but then also, they want to know and have the confidence in you that you can get the job done as well.
Just don't overdo it, because it is sometimes the first impression.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw a study that came out last year that basically said millennials expect you to stay in touch with them more often than previous generations. And I used to always coach people, hey, if you talk to them every 3 or 4 months, that's probably sufficient. Send out some emails and some other things on a regular basis. But based on that study, it sounds like, and I guess my question to you guys is, how often do you think that you really need to be in touch, whether it's a message or it's a text or it's a phone call with this generation?
So I kind of rank my sphere. So I use Follow Up Boss, and my admin, she'll go in there and, she knows my group. So I kind of liked Jeff's method, actually, though. So I think I might switch it up. I have A, B, C, and D. But so my A's usually get contacted once a month, depending on who they are. B's and C's are kind of, around the same time. I mean, they're probably getting contacted, once a quarter. Then it really just depends on who they are. I mean, I have some people, they give me a ton of referrals that have never personally done a deal with me, but I mean, I treat them like a past client would too. And with past clients, I mean, they're getting probably, I think the new rule is like 40-something touches a year now. I think it used to be 33. I think that number keeps going up. But we set them up on quarterly emails, text campaigns, all that fun stuff too. And we always try to make it a point to reach out personally, though, because that's what they want from us.
I think one thing we're really big on is big client appreciation events. I think that's an easy way, an excuse to call, text, email, whatever. But that's an easy touch point. We've had a lot of really positive responses from that. So,
well, to piggyback on that,
yes.
I think that same study said they expect to see us periodically.
Yes.
Which really leads into, I know a number of you do client appreciation parties. Can you talk about what you do for client appreciation parties and why that's important?
Yeah, we do. What's kind of hard is we have such a wide demographic of clients, so it's hard to kind of pick events for each one. But we do a really big Royals event, rent out a big.
That probably didn't work well this year.
That was we do it early in the year, early in the season. We invite probably 300 people. I mean, it's probably about $15,000. We have gotten better about asking people for help. I know there's a lot of recipe rules we work around. That's kind of for our demographic, kind of friends, clients. We do a movie event for our families with kids. That's probably the best event we do. It's the cheapest event we do, but doing something for people's kids means the world to them. So I'd highly recommend that. Very inexpensive, but very impactful. And then what we started to do this year is we're going to do a Thanksgiving pie and wine. I always thought that was really old school and lame, but I don't hit my older clients with those other two events. So I was trying to pick events that everyone gets invited to.
Rachel, I know you also do client appreciation parties. Mm-hmm. Can you say what you guys do?
So we do one as a mastermind group, and we have the College World Series here in Omaha. So we'll put on an event on the rooftop that's right across from the stadium. So people can stop by. We do 5 or 6 hours, I would say.
Too long.
Yeah. And we provide free drinks, and they just stop in. And I think a lot of it is the goodwill of it, too. If you're reaching out to them, a month in advance, and we try to do like a save the date invite, and then an actual invite, and then an email reminder, and then a text or a phone call just to say, hey, are you coming? And then a follow-up thank you. So I think a lot of it is just reaching out and making that contact with them.
I know you had a question, but I want to make sure everybody heard the first part of what she said. She's got a mastermind of 14 people in it, which I'm seeing a chunk of you in the room here. The mastermind group, 3 times now, has done a client appreciation party together. Now, this is foreign to the real estate industry, where 14 competitors that all do over $10 million of business, which is a lot of business in our market, okay, all throw money in to a pot to have their clients come where 13 other competing agents, arguably, are there. But they've done it 3 times, right? When you run and understand the attitude of abundance, there becomes a mutual respect where they're comfortable doing this, fighting each other's clients because of how well they've done helping each other through these mastermind groups. So I think people always think you've got to do a client appreciation party just by yourself, or maybe go get a vendor outside of this business, right? A financial advisor, someone else, which is a good idea to meet his clients too. But think out of the box. When people we said we were first going to do this, people were like, why would anybody do a client appreciation party together with other competing agents? But I would say that nobody feels uncomfortable doing that. Megan? Shannon, you agree? Yeah. So get out of your comfort zone, guys, and there'll be a mutual trust when you continue to start working through this attitude of abundance. Question?
So I would love to hear from each of you. I'm a broker, but I think a lot of us hire brand new people on a team. You take somebody brand new, under 30, out of the box, maybe doesn't even own a home yet. What would you say is the best thing they can do? They don't have clients to have client appreciation parties, and their sphere consists of a lot of young people getting their first jobs, what would you tell them to do? Or what did you do?
This is we all know the answer to this, but it's a people business. Like we focus so much on houses, and that's what we do. But it's not selling houses. I think that's the easy part. It's getting clients. That's the hard part. So, I think for me, like I'm not an online lead generation guy, but I look at all my weeks. I've got kids. I'm at soccer practice. I'm at church. I play beer league softball. Like that's real estate to me.
Is church and beer league softball the same group?
No, different groups. But that's what I'd encourage new people. Just be around people all the time. It doesn't have to always be this business-centered idea.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you, and I've actually done that. So Morgan, who's actually here on my team, she's 24 years old. She's been licensed, not even a year yet, right, Morgan? I think she's here. Oh, September, so almost your 1-year anniversary. But 24 years old, she does have a marketing background, and she does amazing stuff. So if you ever go on our page or whatever, it's all from Morgan. But, what I told her to do was, it's not always who you know, it's how you treat the people who you know. So my family knew a lot of people, and I taught her the same way. I was a little bit older than her when I got into it, but it's all about relationships. That's all it is. I can teach you how to write a contract. I can teach you how to do all these, things that you have to do, the tactics behind the business. But, it's all up to you to make those contacts and be disciplined every single day, because I think a lot of people get into this business to have some free time, do whatever they kind of want to a certain extent, and you have that flexibility obviously, but if you want to be on a team, a high producing team, and really make something out of it, you got to be disciplined, make those contacts, and be in front of people all the time. And she's done a great job, obviously.
Brokers and owners aren't going to like this answer, but long term you should. We recruit someone under the age of 27. I will tell you, almost without exception, I recommend they go join a team. Because the truth of the matter is, their likelihood of being successful with a team person there to mentor them, to support them, to maybe give them online lead generations, because the truth is, a 24-year-old's friends aren't going to be buying houses yet. The average age of a first-time home buyer is 31. So they need online lead generation. They need a lead generation support system. The likelihood of that person being successful and staying in this business long-term is much greater by putting them on team, is what our experience has been in that process. That's hard for brokers to bite off, because the truth is, when we put people on teams, we're not making money on them. That's a break-even proposition. But long-term, the team leader is going to be more happy, and that person is going to be successful. And we need to ultimately think about the success of each one of our agents.
Hey, Vince, we have a question up front.
So one of my questions is, you guys mentioned that you use Facebook a lot, but it kind of seems like Facebook's slowly going out where we live. Do you guys have any plans on approaching it through like Instagram or Instagram TV or Snapchat? And then do you guys promote just yourselves, or do you promote, one of your houses? Do you guys have featured houses? Kind of what approach do you guys take with that?
So I do use Instagram, and I use mostly like the story feature. So we were talking about this in another class that Tasha was teaching, but essentially I just kind of like post things or put on stories what I'm doing all the time. Like even if it's not my listing, but I'm showing a cool house, I'll just do like, oh, this is an amazing view. And I feel like people really respond to that. Like they'll respond, well, where is that house at in Omaha? And we might be looking soon and we'd want something similar. So I do that through Instagram, and then I do post my listings. You can only post 10 photos with the swipe feature. So sometimes I'll do like the pick stitch, or sometimes I'll do just where you swipe. But I get a lot of direct messages from Instagram, and I don't use Snapchat as much as I should, but same kind of feel there.
And I haven't used it very much outside of Facebook. Instagram, I post occasionally. Our team page posts occasionally. We have been trying to do more live video, because I think that is what people want rather than a still photo. So that's either Facebook Live, Instagram Story, or Snapchat. So I'm not entirely sure where it's going to go from here, though, because none of the other ones besides Facebook are really taking hold as the next one that everybody's using. So.
Like I mentioned, we do a little bit. I'm hiring someone full-time to run social media. I think it's a huge opportunity that I'm clearly missing on. But there are some other rethinkers, too, that I think should chime in on this stuff, too, because they are on it a lot.
Get up,
Kristen.
Stand up.
I'm like a grandma in a 34-year-old person's body, so I love Facebook still. I feel like it's a good opportunity where people from all different ages are starting to do Facebook. So even though the millennials are kind of jumping outside of it because now like their parents are seeing what they're doing, I think it's a good opportunity to capture the business for the parents, for the grandparents. So I use Facebook in two ways. One is I do Facebook Live open houses. I use it as a sneak peek. So if you're friends with me on Facebook or my business site, you can get the sneak peek into this house before it goes live. So I'm holding it, make sure you're on Wi-Fi, and hey, it's Kristen, how's it going? I want to show you a sneak peek. Shh, nobody else knows yet. I want you to be the first ones to see it. I'm so glad that you're with me on my Facebook site so that you get the first step into the door. So then what I'll do is I'll run a contest with it. So I'll say something like, okay, pay attention, and if you like my business page, share this post and tell me, what color the shower curtain was in the last bathroom that you see in the tour. Comment that in and you'll win a prize. So number one, it's getting tons of views so I can show my sellers, look at all the people that viewed your house in the open house tour. That's so many more people that would have actually come through, and we don't know who they know. Now they're sharing it, and at the end of the contest, I'm getting people who are liking my business page who may have not liked it. So it's doing so many things all in one. I'm giving the tour, and then obviously I have to make sure that whatever the answer is in the contest, that I do it at the end. So they're watching the entire tour to get the answer. So that's one way I use it. And then the only other way I use it is every Tuesday. I learned about this in a mastermind group 2 years ago, and it was my favorite thing. Tuesday tips. So every Tuesday I do a video where it's completely ridiculous, completely raw. It's not professional at all, but it grasps a lot of the audience attention. It's not necessarily me on it all the time. I could be interviewing a painter or interviewing another professional and asking them questions. Maybe I'm trying to build a business in one particular town, so now I'm interviewing a new restaurant that came in, or I'm asking my kids, what do you love most about this restaurant? And it's just like very interactive. So every Tuesday I'm not pushing real estate, but I'm in front of someone every week. So that's how I use it.
Thank you.
What's your prize?
Yeah, what's the prize?
Not sure what the legal rule is on that.
All right, so let's leave it.
It's like a gift card somewhere, Dunkin' Donuts or whatever.
Can y'all speak a little bit towards business page Facebook versus personal Facebook? Because there's just always a tension between, I don't want to double up because I have people who are my friends, but I also have people who like my Facebook page. I don't want them seeing everything twice, but because I've been doing Facebook a whole lot longer than I've been doing real estate, I have a lot more followers there. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I have both a personal page and a business page. And so on my business page, it's mostly all real estate related. So if there's we don't just post our listings, but we might post an article, top 10 things to increase curb appeal or something like that. So almost everything on the business page is somewhat tied to real estate, whether it's, charity we're supporting or a client appreciation party or trying to sell our listings. Things on my personal page, I try to do like one business item to every 4 personal items. So I try to keep it, real estate is a huge part of my life, so I do want to include that, but I don't want to bombard people with everything real estate. I want them to know I'm a real person too, and it's my job.
I've neglected my business page. People would much rather see pictures of my dog or the marathon I just ran or on the beach. I found that to be better for me, but that might be just because I'm in Salt Lake City and we're a little weird. So, and back to your thing, YouTube. Any video you do, you should be putting it on YouTube and have your YouTube channel. I think that got skipped over as a platform for social media. That's a big one.
I just do a personal Facebook page. Our team has a business page, but I do not have a personal business page.
we do, and I mean, the same way that Rachel kind of does it. I mean, we always, so for my personal page, though, we'll always tag ourselves at my business page, though, so people can see that, see we're at the Kyle Hannegan group and doing all this. And one of the primary things we do with our business page, too, we'll share, articles, fun stuff like that, but I mean, I get reviews on Facebook. Facebook reviews, I think, are huge on your business page, because if you Google myself or my team, our Facebook page is like one of the first things that pops up, even with Zillow. So taking advantage of that and making sure you're getting reviews, not just on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, and all those, but also Facebook, too, because that is a dominant source of where people are going to be going in for SEO purposes.
Yeah.
Bob.
So I have a question. I want you to take your realtor hats off right now and just be millennials. And if I was going to market to you, how would I market to you to get your attention so you would work with me to buy a home?
That's a hard question.
It's got to be mobile, 100%. So, I mean, it's got to be, the phone. I was talking to my wife the other night. I'm like, we have all these computers and tablets and everything. I don't even use them anymore, really. I mean, it's always on my phone. And Gary Vee's a big proponent for that, too. He goes, forget desktop, forget way. I mean, people use it for work sometimes, but that's about it. Kids, adults, everyone in between, I mean, they're always on their phone. So it's got to be mobile-friendly, show up in a mobile-friendly setting, if that makes sense. So mobile, for sure, is what I would say.
And I would say just get to know me. I mean, I'm going to work with someone who's my friend, and that might be through Facebook initially, but then it might be coffee, then it might be lunch, then it might be vacation together, whatever. But get to know me.
I think the likability talk you had on that first day was really good.
Yeah.
And the trust and likability thing, but
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think, I would just kind of liken it to like a financial advisor, for example. Definitely someone that I know or I've been referred to. But I also think that I would go out and research them and see if they have reviews and see what other people, I would check them out probably on Facebook and Instagram and kind of just try to do my back end homework. So I think that definitely a social media presence is important.
And what if one of your parents knew me and said, I want you to work with my realtor? How would you feel about that?
I'm probably stubborn. Like, I'd probably pick someone else, to be honest. But not that I don't trust my parents, but I don't know. I think I'd probably pick someone based on likability and who I like, maybe not who they like.
With my clients, I found that some of them, their parents have heavy, heavy influence on them. But I think it's more so what house they buy, not what agent they work with. So if the parent shows up and they can tell that you're a competent agent, they're not worried about that anymore, but they still are controlling what house they're buying, which is really weird.
Yeah. And I mean, it may come to you as a shocker, but millennials are just people too, though, honestly. So I mean,
My God, the event's done.
there it is. But I mean, what they want, people our age. I mean, I think what is truly important to us is the same thing that the young at heart, if you will. I mean, we want to be able to trust the person. We want to be able to like the person, obviously. And I mean, just to make sure that we feel comfortable and that they're going to always have our best interest and hold our hand throughout the process. Because I can tell you, working with a lot of millennials, they do need sometimes an extra little bit of hand-holding. They have a lot of questions. So just educating them from the get-go, I think, is absolutely huge. Buyer consultations, 2 buyer consultations if need be, 3 or whatever, but I mean, make sure they're educated. And I mean, we're not that complicated, really. I mean, we're techie and stuff, but I mean, our values are the same as everyone else's, though. I mean, we want somebody.
When we talked about the likability.
Absolutely.
Is a component of the likability is making sure that religiously we are getting face-to-face in some manner with these people on a regular basis to build those relationships? Because that's kind of what I'm hearing you guys say. Whether it's client appreciation party, whether it's coffee, whether
I've had a lot of clients come to us because they say, hey, we'd love to, if they're half joking, but if we buy a home with you, do we get to come to one of your parties?
Yeah. But they're not joking.
They're not joking.
They are
correct.
being sincere, which means that it's working because everyone else is talking about it.
Yes.
So do you have a question?
So obviously I'm not a millennial, but I'm hearing you guys say that you want face-to-face contact. Surprises me. I actually do get referrals from parents and the kids do work with me, but they don't want They want me to show them houses. They want to come to my parties. But in terms of buyer consultation, I have a hard time getting them to sit down and talk to me. And they'll even say, because I ask, how do you prefer that I contact you? They all want to be contacted either through Messenger or text. So I have a hard time getting even a phone conversation with them, much less a sit down. So I'm actually really surprised you guys do want to sit down face to face, but you want to do it at a coffee shop or a restaurant.
I will not take people out until we've had a face-to-face. And I think all these millennials have all these ideas of what it looks like, or their friends say this is what you should do. So I think setting expectations is critical. And it makes it go way faster, way smoother. I know we're all anxious to get a client, put them in your car and go because we're excited to have a new client, but you got to pump the brakes with them.
Why do you think there are so many coffee shops everywhere? Starbucks. That's where we like to meet and get together and just chat.
Yeah, I also stress the importance of a buyer consultation. So I have a packet, and I will try to get them to sit down with me. If they won't, or if there's with the market that we've had over the past couple of years where a house comes on the market and it's sold in 3 hours, sometimes you can't get that because they're like, no, we got to go see this house. But I'll bring the packet there and I'll just be like, okay, this is going to be a longer appointment because we're going to go through the packet. So I think you just kind of have to force them. And truly, they're much better prepared if you do go through the process with them in advance.
Yeah, and just to chime in too, so I always say we're in control of the process, they're in control of the decision. So with that consultation, I don't try to scare them, but I do mention, I go, hey, explain the market, what's going on in your price range, all that fun stuff. Again, not to scare them, but to stress the importance of sitting down, getting a game plan, because it doesn't do them any good if I just throw them in the car. We go out and see a few houses and they're all sold. They're confused. There's multiple offers. Like, what the heck does that mean? I still want $10,000 or $5,000 in closing costs. So kind of throwing out some of that lingo beforehand, I think sometimes again, I don't want to scare them, but I want them to understand the importance of coming down to the office. I usually do it in my office, honestly, and going over exactly what they want and what's going to happen throughout the process.
Talk about, I want to piggyback on that. Talk about the coffee shops. Could one of you share the idea that Margot had when we were in our June meeting in Philadelphia about the coffee shop?
Yeah, so the idea was she was going to a local coffee shop every day. That's where she bought her coffee. We were in Philadelphia. And she noticed that there was an advertisement on the sleeve. And she's like, oh, how do I get my name on that sleeve? And they're like, well, if you buy them, yeah, it's right there.
This is not, she just did it. And Megan, you just did it. So a couple people have already acted off of that.
Yeah, so basically she buys the sleeves. It costs her like $1,500 for the year. And every person that walks out of that coffee shop has her name and company and information right there on that sleeve. So she said it's been a huge success for her. And what did she say about
she won because now they give her, the lady's so gracious, she gives her free coffee every day. I said, the lady probably just lost money on this deal. But Megan, you've done it here in Omaha with the local coffee shop. So we've already had a couple of the REThink Council people come and do that. And it doesn't have to be coffee. It can be some other local business that you have where you can brand yourself in some way that's something that they need. I apologize.
I wanted to say, going back to sitting down with millennials, I have 3 millennial children. I love you guys. I understand you guys. I've got 3. And they will not meet with me. I do a lot of millennial business, but they will not sit down and take the time to do a class. So what I do, I find a vacant house to start with. And I get them in that vacant house and I lock that door and I sit there and I will teach you some real estate. And they love it. And then we'll sit there for 45, 50 minutes. Yes. And just to teach them a little bit, because they will not come to my office. They're too busy. I get it. So that's what I do.
It's a good idea.
It is.
So what would you say is a deal killer for millennials? Like what should we not do? What not to wear? What not to do?
Don't leave a voicemail. Send a text. Don't leave a voicemail.
What's a voicemail?
I think there's a guy in the back. There's a guy way in the back that needs a...
Was that Stacey?
Stand up.
We want the people on the outside to hear too, though.
I respect the millennials, but I got a new thing. I got the new Gen X people calling because my son is 23 and 21 and 20, and one of his friends is trying to buy a house, and he's
Gen Z.
Gen Z, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Uses Snapchat stuff on Snapchat and says, "Did you check this out?" And they're gone after 24 hours, and so. How do you guys approach stuff like that? And locking him in a house is not gonna work. I'm out of here. He doesn't want to meet. He's like, I found a house. Can we go? I'll be there in 20 minutes. And trying to lock this kid down. I actually believe I lost him now because he wants to go when he wants to go, and he'll show up like from the pool dripping wet sometimes, and it's like he's on his own thing because he's 22 years old. I got a job and I'm ready to go. So how do you handle like talking to somebody on Snapchat where they send you something that's gone 24 hours later, and it's
I think expectations. So that's why it's so important to have the buyer consultation. Because I tell people in the consultation, we're going to get you in the house as soon as we can, but you have to remember there's someone living there. I mean, we can't just show up and show the house. So I think just setting those expectations, and I would just tell them. For my business, I use texting so I can keep record of everything we've talked about. So Snapchat's just not going to work. Sorry.
Okay, a lot of you guys are saying they won't meet with you. Like, it's not negotiable. Like, make the appointment. Make them come to you or go to them, whatever. I just think I used to show 100 homes to first-time buyers because I never set expectations. Mm-hmm. And I always ask my young buyers, are mom and dad going to be involved? I used to find the perfect house, multiple offers, make a decision now. Like, well, my dad wants to see it tomorrow. Well, then dad needs to come with us. But make them sit down with you first.
Speaking on the 22 or 23-year-old, my brother's 22, and I think he really just wants to be viewed as an equal. He just got out of college. He's got his job. He really just wants to be viewed as a contributing member of society and not as some other segment of the population. So I think treating him as an equal has been the best thing I've been able to do to communicate with him effectively.
Bob, one last question? Go ahead. Well, we're down here the last couple minutes. So, what's the one or two things that you guys are doing religiously to make sure that you're continuing to grow your business? What's your real focuses on a daily basis that's part of your routine?
My business partner and I never shut up. No matter where we go, we're always talking to people, always meeting new people, always hearing what people are doing, sharing our cards, buying people coffee. We just don't shut up.
So letting everybody in the world know I'm in the real estate business.
Yep, I would say mine's similar, but more focusing also on my past clients because I feel like there's such a gold mine there. So that's one of my main focuses for this year and for 2019 is just really reconnecting with that gold mine.
You're really religious about a schedule, right?
Yeah, I try to be.
Can you talk about your morning schedule?
Yeah, so my morning schedule is that I role play at 7:30 a.m. and then I get on the phone from 8 to 10. And if I'm late getting on the phone, I try to do at least 2 hours every day. And then basically from 11 on is usually going on appointments or doing, little, like checking in with my assistant, giving her the stuff that needs to be done. But I really try to get that prospecting done at the beginning of the day so that I can, because, we're all busy, things come up, and if you don't get it done at the beginning of the day, you're not probably going to get it done at all. So.
I would say I'm religious about notes, and I'm big on just. It's easy to say staying in front of people, but if you guys have kids, get involved in their school, coach their teams, it becomes. Someone told me early in the business that real estate's a lifestyle, and I kind of. It sounds really cheesy, but it's true. Like I think it's going to come natural if the things you're doing on a day-to-day basis should turn into business. They should.
I would say, so I had my first kiddo this year, little boy. So yeah, clap it up. So where I want to go with that is, so I was very religious, not quite as crazy as Jake Breen is. That guy's a machine. But anyway, I would have my morning routine. I would be very, very strict. And obviously, you have to adapt, change. The best thing that's ever happened to me. But something that I do want to work on is getting back to my morning routine, exercising, everything that Gino hit on today. Because I've noticed when I'm in that good of a mindset, I feel good. Everything's just a little bit easier. And one other thing that I like, something that you can implement tomorrow is the 4-1s. I got to give my broker Rick Colburn a shout out, so he can say I gave him. But what we do was for every single past client, the 4-1s. Call them in a day, call them in a week, call them in a month, and call them in a year. Non-negotiable, and it works. I mean, it's just very easy. It's on the CRM. It pops up every single day that we know exactly what we need to do, and there's always those good time intervals to have a conversation. Hey, it's been a day. How's everything go? Was the house fine or whatever? 1 week. It's been a week. Can you believe it? Everything going well? The month phone call, and obviously, and so on and so forth. So that's something that we find that works very great, and it takes the thinking out of it too, especially with past clients.
We have time for one more question. Do we have one? I know Margot, who used to be on the REThink Council from Santa Barbara, just kind of like the coffee thing. She said every time she would leave a listing presentation, she would immediately have a plant or a flower sent to that house, not knowing if she was getting the listing, knowing that she was competing against 2 or 3 other people. And she said it was amazing the response she got out of just doing that simple act of sending that plant to that house after that listing presentation. So those are the type of ideas I'd love to have you guys take. Is there anything unique that you guys think that you do that really helps connect with your clients? And if there's
I don't have anything like that, honestly. I think it's just picking up the phone and calling people and letting them know that you care. I mean, to be honest with you, but I mean, that's a great thing. And I mean, again, kind of going back to what I said too, I reward the action, not the result. So if someone refers someone to me, I give them a gift card no matter what, whether that person tells me to pound sand or loves me, whatever it's usually not the first one, but that's something we do.
Come on.
One of the things I just started doing was a lot of my business is referrals, but if it's not and it's a stranger who's never met me, I'll do a video email to them prior to the appointment and introduce myself and say, I usually use it as the confirmation of when we're going to meet. And I just have like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and just keep it real. And hey, I'm Kristen. I look forward to meeting with you on Tuesday at 4. See you then. This is one of the things that make me stand out versus anyone else you're going to meet with, is I use this social media and I get your house out there. That's one thing I just started using this year that really stood out.
Have you heard a common theme here? Video, video, video. Coffee shop, coffee shop, coffee shop. Stay in touch with these people. Client appreciation parties. I mean, numerous people said the same thing over and over of how they're connecting and building these relationships. Bob, one last question.
Kristen, do you use BombBomb? Do you just do a short video? You use BombBomb?
Or Videolicious.
And do you text it or do you email it?
I email it.
You email it, and they still open it.
You can see when they open it.
Okay, great.
You can see when they've opened it multiple times. I'm like, yes.
So you use email for the purpose of being able to track it versus text?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so can we give these guys a hand and
Please.
the rest of the REThink Council a huge hand? I do want to say, great job. And, see you in Vancouver. Hopefully everybody will be in Vancouver. Just want to say, www.rethinkreport.com is a wealth of information. Gino's Thursdays will show up here. Has everybody been to this REThink report? We have, I think, 10 videos now from the REThink Council members sharing what they are doing. So go to rethinkreport.com and register. And thanks very much, Vince.
Guys, one last thing. First of all, I know we're losing people to airports like crazy. One is any of those of you in the Berkshire Hathaway network, that is an award winner. I'm a broken record about this. Vancouver, Summit, top producers only. It's powerful. Going there, hanging out, almost all of our REThink and REThink alum are going to be there. Register for that, guys. Go there. Vancouver's a cool city, but the networking, the inspiration, the learning that you're going to do there, it's well worthwhile. Please, please consider doing that. Those of you that are managers that have people going on your teams, you should go to learn from that group also. Guys, we're going to do a drawing, so this is going to be for a free, pull it out, Rachel, for a free ticket for next year's event.
Pick me. Tabitha.
Nope, we're not going to do that one. She can come free no matter what. She's a manager here.
Kathy.
Kathy, is it Butter?
Burkle.
Is it butt?
It's Butts. So let's call them. Let's take this. We'll call them and tell them they've won a free ticket to next year's event. Guys, this has been our pleasure. We are honored to be able to host this event. I hope you found great value. Please, 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 you're going to get a text message this afternoon voice talking to that, your best takeaways, what you liked about the event, what we can do to improve the event. The only way we're going to get better is to get your input. We will share, we've talked about videos, we've got Alan's and Gino's notes, we've got notes from other people. We're going to send you all this stuff electronically, guys. Have a great trip home. Hope to see most of you in Vancouver.